Do you have a little USB?
Oh, got it right here. Yeah.
Is it all hooked up and ready to go?
Yeah, you can test it out really quickly to go ahead and try. All right, whenever you're ready, Bryn.
Have you ever been hurt by something someone said about you? What if you didn't know who said it, but you know it was someone in your area, so it hits close to home, if you will? This is exactly the type of activity that YIGYAC facilitates. In Jonathan Maller's 2015 New York Times article, he described YIGYAC as a social media app created at Furman University by fraternity brothers Brooks Buffington and Tyler Droll. The app was basically an anonymous forum, and it was intended to act as a virtual billboard for students to share information like the score at a football game or what's for lunch at the pit. And so to post on the app, you didn't have to reveal your identity, and your post would then be broadcasted within a 1.5-mile radius. Anonymous posting on YIGYAC has become a haven for bullying, hate speech, and threats, and thus I believe that it should be blocked from use on college campuses nationwide in an effort to protect students. I'm going to start out by talking about the spread of YIGYAC and then get into its implications. YIGYAC has become explosively popular across the country. In fact, Wake Forest is actually one of the first colleges that it became widely used at, and this is because, according to the 2014 Old Gold and Black article by writer Rachel Wallen, the first employee that YIGYAC actually hired was a Wake Forest grad who then networked to students and got people to develop and start using the app. Since its creation, YIGYAC has frequently found its way onto the top 10 most popular apps on iTunes. And the app has become the go-to social feed for college students across the country, with monthly users of an estimated 1,600 campuses across the country. So started on websites like Formstring and Ask.fm, anonymous posting took off when it transitioned to apps because in modern day society everyone is constantly linked into their smartphones. The app was created with good intentions to act as a more democratic social media network, and to this end a lot of the posts on YIGYAC are actually like lighthearted and joking. However, as this quote describes in Mahler's article, YIGYAC is increasingly being used by young people in a really intimidating and destructive way. As you can imagine, behind the veil of anonymity, people are emboldened to be very brutally honest and even harmful in their posts, making the app a platform for bullying, hate speech, and even threats. At Wake Forest, student writer Emily Strahan tells us in her 2014 Old Gold and Black article that certain fraternities and sororities have been targeted, as well as individuals by name. Even more concerning, Strahan says, comments have been racist, targeting our fellow classmates. Students interviewed by student writer Tommy Super for the 2014 Old Gold and Black article seem to agree that the harm of YIGYAC outweighs the fun. I had to delete YIGYAC, says senior Daniel Buchan. I felt like for every personal comment, I had to read through 12 personal attacks on people and organizations. Other colleges have faced similar difficulties with the app. Issues often actually escalated to an even worse degree. Maller reports that YIGYAC has been used to issue threats of mass violence at more than a dozen college campuses nationwide, including University of North Carolina, Michigan State University, and Penn State. In addition, racist, homophobic, and misogynist postings have created controversy at even more colleges, including Syracuse, which is actually, this is an image that was used in a student article at Syracuse, Clemson, Emory, Colgate, and UT. The app was designed for college students as their target users, but when offensive and abusive messages started being posted at middle schools, safety measures were enacted to protect children early on. YIGYAC has blocked the use of the app at over 100,000 schools across the country by implementing a technique called geofencing, which basically blocks the use via data connection within defined school areas. College campuses have remained unprotected, however, because college students are thought to be mature enough to be able to post responsibly. However, time has shown that this ideal is in fact not true, and individuals and groups continue to be targeted on the app, which is damaging to students' sense of security on campus and the greater sense of community. I believe that to alleviate the harmful effects of abusive and derogatory posts, the app should be the app should be blocked from use at Wake Forest and colleges nationwide using geofencing, just like it was at middle and high schools. Although, like I said before, many argue that that college students are mature enough that they should be able to post responsibly, our experience has proven otherwise. How much of a difference does a few years really make between a 17-year-old and a college student? In fact, according to neuroscientist Sandra Admont in her book, Welcome to Your Child's Brain, How the Mind Grows from Conception to College, she argues that the brain is not finished developing until about age 25. Thus, is it really such a reach to say that if people under the age of 17 are not mature enough to use the app, that college students are also not mature enough to use the app? Others argue that blocking the use of YikYak on college campuses would be a breach of freedom of speech. As Jahan said in her article, we are lucky to live in a democracy that promotes freedom of speech. Yet this new technology calls into question the boundaries of freedom of speech. I wholeheartedly believe in freedom of speech, but I believe that people should have to stand behind the things that they say, and thus this excludes anonymous posting. I'm not denying that YikYak creates a space where people can honestly share thoughts and opinions without judgment. And there is merit in this idea. All the same, as Wake students interviewed by the Old Gold and Black concluded, I think that the harm outweighs the fun. YikYak has become an inhospitable place that causes harm to young adults by victimizing and cyberbullying them. The potential that users will misuse the app and students will be hurt in the process has proven to be high, and I believe that it is in the best interest of our students to block the app from use on campus. Thank you.